Storm was an archetype once very popular in Modern, but in recent years has been pushed out of the format due to the interaction and speed outpacing the once loved strategy. Caleb Schur was the leader of the pack, tuning the list in the United States for the SCG's series of tournaments. But when the SCG Tour stopped doing coverage, Storm vanished alongside Caleb Schur. But recently, he's returned. Caleb messaged me on Twitter saying he has been working on a new Storm list with Venerated Rot Priest, a new card from Phyrexia All Will Be One. This combo deck utilizes the fact that when you target the Rot Priest, the opponent gets a poison counter. So the strategy is simple: if you cast a load of spells that are cheap or free that target a creature you control and finish with a Ground Rift, you can kill the opponent very fast with infect damage. If you think this strategy isn't good, be patient because in this video I kill on turn 2 in Modern. To start the first round, we're on the draw and we have to keep a very medium hand. Generally, with any hand with lands and Rot Priests you want to keep because you only have 4 Rot Priests in the deck. The opponent starts off their turn by fetching a Sacred Foundry and playing an Esper Sentinel, clearly being an off-meta build. We draw another Rot Priest, but I'm not interested in casting these creatures until I am able to combo kill the opponent, which is why I play the Mountain and kill the Esper Sentinel, as we're trying to keep our life total as high as possible. I then play the Bauble, pass back, and they have a Stoneforge Mystic to fetch Colossus Hammer. Clearly they're on an off-meta hammer build, but like an absolute beast, we rip Ground Rift off the top of the deck. We start the turn by activating Bauble. This is a really cool trick because we can look at the top card of our library and then use a fetch land from our hand if we don't like the top card, and then draw a fresh new one on the next upkeep, acting as a pseudo scry. As there's a Stomping Ground on top of the deck, I play my Wooded Foothills and instantly fetch that away. This play instantly pays off when I draw Mutagenic Growth from the Bauble trigger. The opponent spends their turn playing a Springleaf Drum and a Sigarda's Aid and passes back the turn, and now with a Manamorphose off the top, we have a guaranteed kill. I start off the turn with a Manamorphose, adding green, and we find a useless Traverse. Now it's time to put both of the Rot Priests on the table. Oh yeah, I forgot to say in the intro, the ability from Rot Priest stacks. That means if you have multiple Rot Priests on the table, they trigger twice if you can target one of them with a spell. And this will come up a lot throughout this video. Trying to play around Lightning Bolt, I Ground Rift first. Even if the opponent has Lightning Bolt, I have lethal anyways, but if they have Bolt, I can Mutagenic Growth in response. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is the fact that the triggers of the infect counters instantly go on the stack when the creature is targeted, which is what's so powerful about the Rot Priest. Going into boarding, I suspect they have Ragavan, so we get all the artifact removal in and bring in the Lava Darts as well for extra removal. Going into the next game, our hand is the Stone Cold Nuts. With a Rot Priest, 2 Baubles, and a Ground Rift, we are very close to killing the opponent quickly. But things don't look too good for us when the opponent starts off with a Sigarda's Aid and 2 0-drops. I'm just too good at this game. Ground Rift off the top. This means if we play Venerated Rot Priest right now, and we draw a spell to cast that targets the Rot Priest, we can play Bauble spell with the Rot Priest, double Ground Rift, and we can win the game. But we're gonna have to top deck and hope that the opponent has a slower draw. With a Springleaf Drum and the Ornithopter attacking in, they do have the Hammer. So for me to win this game, I have to draw a spell off the top to trigger Storm. You thought I'd whiff? This is the HarryMTG channel. Come on. The opponent tells me cringe in the MTGO chat as I GG them and we move on to the next round. If you want to see more opponents salt, don't forget to click that subscribe button so you get notified when I upload another video. Going into the next round, on the draw we have a very good hand. We play Summoner's Pact in the deck because it does find the Rot Priest. While yes, it does most likely kill us on the next upkeep, we don't care about that because the Rot Priest will kill in 1 turn and the Summoner's Pact adds to Storm. So this Summoner's Pact adds 2 to the Storm, gets the Rot Priest in play, and helps us kill the opponent. It's a great addition to the deck, and Caleb is very smart for putting it in here. It's annoying the opponent has a Ragavan, but we're running hotter than the sun when we find a Ground Rift off the top. So now we can play our Dragon Rage Channeler, hold the Bauble, and just say go. Just to clarify, I fetched a basic Mountain here because we can get double green mana for both the Rot Priests from the Manamorphose. The opponent shows that they're on Black-Red Scam by playing a Fury, and then scamming it, bashing him with the Ragavan. I get a bit worried when they find a Bauble, but without a Thoughtseize and them just passing back the turn, I feel more confident in my hand. Finding a Gutshot off the top is nice, but we need a 3rd land so that we can go Pact, Rot Priest, Ground Rift. So I play the Bauble, do the Bauble Scry, and we find a Gutshot off the top again, so we gotta shuffle that away, and I'm looking to kill this Ragavan because we have to slow down the opponent. As we found a stomping ground, I gut shot the Ragavan when they bash in with the team, and the opponent just passes back the turn. If our hand couldn't get even better, we find a mana Morpho, so now we can pack for both of our venerated Rot Priests, Morphos, and Ground Rift, and even if they have a removal spell, they still lose. The opponent has to have 2 removal spells here to get out of this, because what they can do is kill the first Rot Priest with the second Rot Priest on the stack, and then kill the second Rot Priest with my Ground Rift on the stack. After casting both Morphoses and just finding a Summoner's Pact in the Dragon Rage Channeler, I do some storm math to see if the opponent can actually win if they just have 1 removal spell. I think my math is correct, as we can get a Wild Canter with the Summoner's Pact so that we get an extra storm, and now we can go Rot Priest, Ground Rift, and they just have to have 2. Going into boarding, we want the Spellskite in and the Veil of Summers, and the Mutagenic Growth just isn't as good because they play things like Fury, which deal a ton of damage. Going into the second game, we have to keep this opening hand because the opponent's deck is full of discard with Griefs, Thoughtseize, and load of interaction. I don't particularly want to mulligan, and this hand isn't even that bad. They have the turn 1 play that makes any FNM warrior sigh. They play a Ragavan and pass back the turn. As we need to find more pieces, I decide to play the Bauble and hold up the Veil of Summer. We draw Summoner's Pact on their upkeep, and they attack in and find a Spellskite off the top of the deck. Annoying, but what's good is that Venerated Rot Priest triggers when you target it, so even if they redirect to their Spellskite, we'll still give them 1 infect. Finding a Dragon Rage Channel off the top is great, because now we have a way to start surveilling and fueling up the graveyard for this Underworld Breach, and we have Veil of Summer to protect it from black removal. The opponent follows up with a very cool legendary land that basically just gives the Ragavan fear and means I can't block it with the Dragon Rage Channeler. But if they're going to spend 2 mana on this every turn, I'm not too concerned, and I'm not even sure I block the Ragavan anyways. They find a Manamorphose off the top of my deck, but choose not to cast it even though they cast a Seasoned Pyromancer, missing out on a free card? I don't know. I'm just going to Veil of Summer on the end step as a Surveil 1, as we need to start filling up our graveyard, and I'm looking for lands. Drawing the land that we know about, there's nothing really else to do but pass back and hope that the opponent doesn't have a way to disrupt me through this Veil of Summer. They give the Ragavan fear again and attack with both creatures. I decide to Veil of Summer and bin a Ground Rift, giving me Delirium so I can block the Seasoned Pyromancer, and the opponent just plays another land and passes back. Now for all of you classic Storm players, it's time to do an alternate win condition and kill the opponent with Grapeshot. First, I attack him with the Dragon Rage Channeler for 3, that's an extra 3 Storm or 3 Grapeshots, and the opponent's at 13, so I need to cast a lot of spells. I start off with Manamorphose, bin the Dragon Rage Channeler, draw a land, which is perfect because now we can play the Underworld Breach and go for more Manamorphose. Now the opponent does have a Fatal Push in response, so it's time to cast all of our instants to not only surveil more, get a Wild Canter out of the deck for extra Storm, but also to maintain the amount of cards in the graveyard. Now while it may look like I'm playing fast, I actually did a lot of math to confirm that this is correct. You cast as many Manamorphose as possible, then you finish off with a Gut Shot, exiling the whole graveyard, then you can cast Grapeshot with only 1 damage to spare. This is one of the sickest side quests of a deck that I've ever achieved. I'm shocked that we could actually manage to Grapeshot the opponent. The purpose of Grapeshot is not actually to even go to the face, it's meant to be a 2-mana Ground Rift, because you can target all the Grapeshots at the Venerated Rot Priest. I'm just surprised that we managed to even damage kill here. Yeah, what the heck? I don't know what else to say. Now, while things went perfectly in these 2 matches, the rest of the tournament didn't go so well. I played against Hammer again, and while I managed to combo kill in the first game, in both games 2 and 3, they were both interactive and too quick for me to keep up to win the game. Then, I played against a control deck. Cards like Subtlety, Teferi Time Raveler, and just overall interactive spells made it very hard for me to even get my combo piece on the table. Then I lost to Hammer Time again. Being a deck that has Drannith Magistrate and Sanctifier and Vec in the sideboard makes it really hard to interact with, and they have a combo fast kill to go alongside it. Overall, I really enjoyed this deck, but I definitely think it's missing something, and there's a lot of tuning the community needs to do for it to rise up in the tier list. What changes would you make? Let me know in the comment section down below, but that's about it for this video. Check out this video because YouTube thinks you'll like it.